Buenos Aires, Argentina, June 16, 1955. An injured woman after the bombing of Plaza de Mayo. A total of 308 civilians would be killed by military bombing of a peaceful protest in one of the busiest parts of Buenos Aires, making it Argentina's deadliest terrorist attack. 1963. A series of iconic photographs shows Steve McQueen and his wife Neil Adams, actress and dancer, photographed by John Dominguez for Life magazine. The cool action star and his talented spouse embody Hollywood glamour during the decade when McQueen defined masculine cinematic style and anti-hero roles. Kure Shipyard, 1943. Fuso battleship undergoes maintenance or construction. This powerful warship represents Imperial Japan's naval ambitions before American forces would sink much of the fleet. The vessel would eventually meet its end during the Battle of Leyte Gulf in the Philippines waters. Kyakhta, circa 1885. A dead Russian millionaire, showing the method of laying out a corpse. This ethnographic photograph documents Russian funeral customs and death rituals during the Tsarist era, revealing cultural practices surrounding death, mourning, and the preparation of deceased bodies for burial in Siberian frontier towns. 1945. The first black general of the U.S. Army, Benjamin Davis Sr. His historic promotion broke racial barriers in the military despite systemic discrimination. Davis's leadership paved the way for integration and demonstrated African Americans' capabilities in command positions previously denied them through racist policies. February 14, 1942. Japanese paratroopers board a Mitsubishi Ki-57 military transport aircraft at an airfield prior to takeoff. The Allies codenamed the aircraft Topsy. Photo was taken before the Japanese landing over Palembang, Sumatra, Dutch East Indies during the Pacific War's expansion phase. Al-Amadi, Kuwait, 1991. Steve McCurry photographs oil fields set ablaze by retreating Iraqi forces during the Gulf War. The environmental catastrophe blackened skies for months as hundreds of wells burned. This ecological disaster represented Saddam Hussein's scorched earth policy during his military defeat and withdrawal from Kuwait. Early 1900s Montana. Two Blackfeet warriors look across what is now Glacier National Park. This photograph documents Native Americans' connection to ancestral lands before national park designation would further restrict indigenous access and use of territories where their peoples lived for countless generations before white settlement. Middleburg, Virginia, 1962. Lawrence Fried photographs John F. Kennedy playing with his dog Charlie. This candid moment captures the president enjoying private family time away from White House pressures. Kennedy's casual interactions with pets humanized him to public audiences during his brief presidency before assassination. Cincinnati, Ohio, February 1973. Kodachrome slide captures a lady dancing at Fountain Square. This vibrant street scene documents urban public life during the 70s when downtown plazas remained social gathering spaces before suburban malls and later digital isolation would transform how Americans spent leisure time together. June 6, 1945. Aerial view of the Normandy landings shows the massive amphibious invasion that liberated Western Europe from Nazi occupation. Thousands of ships and landing craft deposited Allied forces onto French beaches despite fierce German resistance, beginning the final campaign toward Germany and Hitler's defeat. Phillipsburg, Kansas. Three sisters pose in a studio portrait dressed in crisp white outfits with oversized bows. Photographed by John Johnson. Original included. This formal Victorian-era portrait demonstrates families' care in documenting children through professional photography, preserving sisterhood bonds across time through carefully composed images. Mollyaggle, Australia, February 5, 1869. World's largest alluvial gold nugget, the Welcome Stranger, is found by John Deason and Richard Oates weighing 97.14 kilograms. This extraordinary discovery during Australia's gold rush era demonstrated the continent's mineral wealth that drove migration and economic development. Circa 1900, glass negative shows two natives posing for their portrait. This ethnographic photograph documents indigenous peoples during the colonial era when anthropologists and photographers recorded disappearing cultures. Such images preserve faces and traditions, while also reflecting the power dynamics of colonial documentation and Western anthropological gaze. February 5, 1919. Hollywood legends Charlie Chaplin, Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and director D.W. Griffith founded United Artists. The studio was created to allow actors and directors to control their own artistic and financial interests, challenging the studio system's exploitative practices and creative restrictions. Sukhumi, Abkhazia, 1992. Georgian soldiers pose by a bust of Lenin. This photograph captures post-Soviet conflicts as former republics fought bloody wars over territory and identity. The communist monument stands incongruously amid ethnic warfare that would devastate the region and displace hundreds of thousands through violent ethnic cleansing. 1914. Croatian troops of the Austro-Hungarian Empire prepared for World War I. These soldiers from the multi-ethnic empire would fight on multiple fronts during the conflict that would ultimately destroy Austria-Hungary, leading to independence movements and the creation of Yugoslavia, incorporating Croatian territories into new Balkan states. Trafford Park, Manchester, early 1900s. Ford Model Ts being assembled represent automotive mass production's arrival in Britain. Henry Ford's revolutionary assembly line methods transformed manufacturing globally, making automobiles affordable for middle-class consumers and fundamentally changing transportation, urban planning, and modern industrial capitalism's nature. 1986. This mugshot of 19-year-old Kurt Cobain is an iconic piece of music history. The future Nirvana frontman's arrest photo predates his revolutionary impact on alternative rock and grunge. Within years, Cobain would transform music culture before his tragic suicide at 27 ended his brief but influential career. Marseille, September 30, 1914. A French boy meets Indian soldiers who have just arrived in France to fight alongside French and British troops. Colonial forces from across the British Empire deployed to European battlefields, with hundreds of thousands of Indians serving and dying far from home. Dagestan, Azerbaijan SSR, 1968. Yuri Abramochkin photographs horsemen. This image documents traditional Caucasus mountain culture and equestrian traditions maintained under Soviet rule. The photograph preserves disappearing customs as modernization and communist policies attempted transforming ancient societies into standardized Soviet citizens, erasing distinct regional identities. 1940. A 14-year-old mother's journal entry regarding the presidential election captures teenage political awareness during Roosevelt's unprecedented third-term campaign. This personal document reveals how young Americans engaged with democratic processes and national politics during the tense period before Pearl Harbor would transform the nation fundamentally. 1790s France. A Frenchman known as Thérèse suffered from a condition, leaving him with an insatiable, monstrous appetite. He consumed live cats and dogs whole, ate enough to feed 15 men, and was caught drinking human blood and eating bodies in the morgue. Yet, he weighed only around 100 pounds. New York City, 1977. Amy Irving, Carrie Fisher, and Terry Garr posed together. These talented actresses represented Hollywood's new generation during the decade when independent films and character-driven narratives challenged blockbuster spectacles. Fisher would achieve immortality as Princess Leia, while Irving and Garr built respected dramatic careers. Mobile, Alabama, September 24, 1977. A KKK member and a black man struggle over possession of a stick during an encounter downtown. This physical confrontation symbolizes ongoing racial tensions decades after civil rights legislation, as white supremacist organizations continued terrorizing and intimidating African Americans throughout the South. 1898. Charles Wesley Mathis captures a portrait of T. Denhard. This formal Victorian photograph demonstrates late 19th century portrait conventions where subjects posed stiffly in their finest clothing. Studio portraits documented middle-class respectability and social status through careful composition and expensive photographic processes requiring professional expertise. Brazil, April 1964. A Brazilian army tank in front of the Ministry of War during the coup d'état. Military forces overthrew the democratically elected government, installing a dictatorship that would rule for 2 decades through repression, torture, and censorship. This coup began Latin America's dark era of military dictatorships and US-backed authoritarian regimes. Kosice, Slovakia, 2017. Damian Lemansky photographs contemporary Eastern European life. This modern image documents Slovakia's transformation from communist control to European Union membership. Post-Soviet societies navigated dramatic economic, political, and cultural changes as they integrated into Western institutions while preserving distinct national identities and historical memories. 1932. A mother with her children demonstrates Depression-era poverty and resilience. Like the side part on the little girl, families struggle to maintain dignity and proper appearance despite economic devastation. This photograph captures maternal love and determination to provide normalcy for children even when basic survival challenged millions of Americans daily. 1984. Ozzy Osbourne shows how much sugar he likes in his coffee. The heavy metal legend's excessive sugar consumption mirrors his notorious rock and roll lifestyle excesses. This playful moment captures Osbourne's larger-than-life personality that made him a cultural icon beyond Black Sabbath's pioneering heavy metal sound and theatrical performances. February 5, 2016. A new species of black tarantula that lives near Folsom Prison, California, was named after Johnny Cash. Efinopelma johnnycashi honors the country music legend who famously performed at the prison and sang about outlaws. This taxonomic tribute connects natural history with American cultural heritage and musical legacy. Washington, D.C., April 25, 1948. A little boy poses proudly with his perfectly tailored two-piece suit and matching fedora. His formal attire reflects African-American families' emphasis on respectability and proper presentation despite systemic racism. Dressing children impeccably challenged stereotypes and demonstrated middle-class aspirations and community pride. Greenville, South Carolina, 1958. Rendezvous Supper Club captures Southern nightlife during the 50s. These social venues provided entertainment and dining for middle-class whites during segregation, when separate and unequal facilities divided American society. The club represents the era's surface prosperity, masking deep racial injustice and social tensions. Japan, 1904. Wounded in the Russo-Japanese War shown, recovering at a military hospital. This conflict marked Japan's emergence as a major military power capable of defeating a European nation. The war shocked Western observers who underestimated Asian capabilities and foreshadowed Japan's increasing regional dominance. February 5, 1926. Chicago pirate radio DJs dressed as literal pirates 100 years ago. This playful publicity stunt demonstrates early radio's theatrical nature and promotional creativity. Before FCC regulation standardized broadcasting, stations competed for audiences through outrageous stunts, costumes, and personalities that defined radio's golden age entertainment value. Death Valley, California, 1954. William Garnett photographs four-sided sand dune. His aerial photography captured natural landscape patterns and abstract forms invisible from ground level. These images revealed desert beauty and geometric complexity, establishing aerial photography as both documentary tool and artistic medium exploring Earth's surface patterns from unique perspectives. February 5, 1907. Belgian chemist Leo Beekland announces the creation of Bakelite, the first plastic made entirely from synthetic components. This revolutionary material transformed manufacturing and consumer products. Plastics would eventually reshape modern life while creating environmental problems from non-biodegradable waste that now pollutes oceans and ecosystems globally. Australia. Indigenous people in chains. This horrific image documents colonial brutality and the systematic oppression of Aboriginal peoples. British colonization treated Indigenous Australians as less than human, imprisoning them, stealing their children, and attempting to destroy cultures spanning tens of thousands of years through genocidal policies disguised as civilization. Moscow, Russian SFSR, 1937. The first propeller glider on the Moscow-Volga Canal. Georges Zelma photographs this experimental aircraft. Soviet engineering ambitions led to numerous innovative designs, though many proved impractical. The regime promoted technological achievements as propaganda demonstrating communist superiority over capitalist nations during Stalin's brutal modernization campaigns. Victorian era. It was illegal in many places for men and women to be within 60 feet of each other at the beach. To bypass this, women used bathing machines, mobile fortresses horse-drawn into waves, so they could swim in total privacy away from onlookers' gaze and maintain strict gender segregation. Tennessee, 1989. As her public defender looks on, Tammy Middlebrooks, 19, pleads guilty for her role in the lynching of Carrick Majors, a 14-year-old black boy in Nashville. Tammy and two other white drifters tortured and murdered Majors after he accidentally broke a $2 vase. Bornholm, Denmark, summer 1945. The reconnaissance section of Junior Sergeant Mikhail Pyotr Andreevich, 293rd Separate Reconnaissance Company of the 205th Rifle Denier Order of Suvorov 2nd Degree Division on the island. Soviet forces occupied this Danish territory briefly following Germany's defeat. February 4, 1987. Pianist, singer, and actor Liberace passes away at 67. At the height of his fame from the 1950s to 70s, he was the world's highest-paid entertainer. He embraced a lifestyle of flamboyant excess both on and off stage, becoming an icon of theatrical showmanship. Tallahassee, Alabama, 1962. No scanners then. A grocery clock works as cash register. Before computerized checkouts and barcodes, clocks memoized prices and manually entered each item. This labor-intensive process required skill and speed. Modern automation would eventually eliminate these jobs while dramatically increasing checkout efficiency across retail industries. Post 9/11. World Trade Center modded into games. Video game developers faced ethical dilemmas about including or removing the destroyed towers from games set in New York City. Some modified existing games while others made deliberate choices to preserve or erase the buildings, reflecting ongoing cultural negotiations. The Highest Sisters represent leading lights in American musical theater. These African American performers broke racial barriers in 19th century entertainment, demonstrating black excellence in opera and theater when most stages excluded them. Their success challenged racist assumptions while paving the way for future generations of black performers across entertainment fields. 1900. A man chased by a lady with a stick to jam his pennyfarthing. Glass negative shot with some blur captures this amusing Victorian street scene. The high-wheeled bicycle's danger and impracticality made riders targets for mockery. This candid moment shows everyday conflict and humor from an era of transforming transportation. Mostar, 1911. The old bridge stands intact before wars would destroy it. This Ottoman-era architectural masterpiece survived centuries before being deliberately destroyed during the Bosnian War in 1993. Its reconstruction symbolized peace efforts, though the region's ethnic tensions persist, making the bridge's restoration both practical and deeply symbolic. Menton, southern France, June 22, 1940. A group of black shirts pose in front of a hotel damaged by bombings after the Italian occupation of the city. Mussolini's forces briefly occupied French territory following France's defeat, though Italy's military weaknesses would soon become apparent throughout the war. Stan Lewis, known as the Record Man, with Elvis Presley. Stan would help Elvis record several records in his career when he was in town in Shreveport. He would actually stay with Stan and his family. This relationship demonstrates the music industry's personal connections before corporate consolidation transformed recording into purely business transactions. Summer 1940. The nose gunner of this England-bound Heinkel, he 111 had the best view of the action ahead possible. German bomber crews faced terrifying missions over Britain during the Battle of Britain. RAF fighters inflicted heavy casualties on Luftwaffe bombers, eventually forcing Hitler to abandon invasion plans. 1944. U.S. Marines enjoy their collection of Japanese skulls. This horrifying photograph documents the Pacific War's brutal dehumanization. American troops collected enemy remains as trophies, revealing how warfare erodes moral boundaries. Such behavior violated international law and basic human dignity, showing combat's corrupting psychological effects on combatants. 1991. Eminem with his group Soul Intent demonstrates the rapper's early career before global superstardom. These Detroit underground hip-hop artists struggled for recognition in the predominantly black genre. Eminem's exceptional lyrical skills would eventually overcome racial barriers, making him one of rap's most successful and controversial artists. 1985 France. Georges Courtois was on trial for armed robbery when accomplice Abdelkarim Kalki smuggled in weapons. Courtois seized the guns to expose what he saw as years of injustice and mistreatment. He took magistrates and jurors as hostages and began a standoff lasting nearly 36 hours. Saipan, Northern Mariana Islands, 1944. W. Eugene Smith photographs capture the brutal Pacific Island warfare. Smith's powerful combat photography documented Marines' suffering and courage under fire. His unflinching images showed war's human cost, influencing public understanding of the conflict and establishing photojournalism's importance in bearing witness to history's darkest moments. San Francisco, California, April 1939. Unemployed men demonstrate depression's devastating impact on working-class Americans. Mass unemployment destroyed lives and families as capitalism's collapse left millions without work or hope. These desperate men sought any labor, as government relief programs struggled addressing unprecedented economic catastrophe and widespread poverty. 1939. A girl sits in the corner of the kitchen in her family's tent home. The Great Depression forced millions into migrant labor and temporary shelter. This stock image captures childhood poverty and displacement as families traveled seeking work, living in makeshift camps without basic amenities or dignity. Saipan, 1944. American Marines with a Japanese bicycle pose for photographs. These lightweight vehicles provided mobility across Pacific Islands where terrain made motorized transport difficult. Marines appropriated enemy equipment whenever practical, demonstrating the resourcefulness required for island warfare's challenging logistical conditions and constant supply limitations throughout campaigns. 1900s to 1910s. Two children with hobby horses demonstrate Victorian-era toys and childhood play. These simple stick horses provided imaginative entertainment before mass-produced toys became standard. Children's games often mimicked adult activities, preparing them for future roles while providing exercise and creative play in outdoor spaces. Chicago, 1966. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. being attacked as he marched non-violently for the Chicago Freedom Movement. Northern racism proved equally vicious as Southern segregation. King faced violent mobs throwing rocks and bottles, demonstrating that racial hatred transcended geography, and that northern cities maintained systemic discrimination through housing and employment practices. October 24, 1901. Annie Edson Taylor, American adventurer, on her 63rd birthday became the first person to survive a trip over Niagara Falls in a barrel. Her daring stunt sought fame and fortune, though she never achieved lasting prosperity from a death-defying achievement that inspired future daredevils. North Carolina, 1937. Photo of John Smith, ex-slave, at his home. These interviews and photographs documented survivors of slavery decades after emancipation. Their testimonies preserved first-hand accounts of bondage horrors before the final generation of enslaved people died, leaving only written and photographic records of America's original sin. Houston, Texas, 1944. Kodachrome shot captures a woman working for the war effort. Female factory workers proved essential to wartime production, assembling weapons and supplies while men fought overseas. Their skilled labor challenged gender assumptions about appropriate work, though most lost positions when veterans returned home seeking employment. Jonestown, Guyana, November 18, 1978. Jim Jones, right. Soon after taking the picture, the photographer was killed in an ambush. 900+ people, including more than 200 children, died by a mixture of flavor aid and cyanide, making it the largest murder-suicide of U.S. citizens. 1900. People in the early 1900s really dressed a cat as a Valkyrie. This bizarre photograph demonstrates Victorian-era humor and the strange practice of dressing animals in costumes for entertainment. Such images reflect changing relationships with pets as companions rather than working animals, allowing frivolous anthropomorphization for photographic amusement. 1948. A boy watches TV for the first time in an appliance store window. Television's arrival transformed American culture and family life. This moment of wonder captures the technology's magical appeal to those who had never seen moving pictures broadcast into homes, before television would dominate leisure time. 1990. A Blackbird pilot takes a selfie while flying at high altitude. The SR-71 reconnaissance aircraft reached incredible speeds and altitudes during Cold War spy missions. This photograph captures the elite pilots who flew these technological marvels, documenting the dangerous missions over hostile territory, gathering intelligence for national security purposes. June 26, 1925. A Native American woman works as a switchboard operator. Telephone operators connected calls manually before automatic switching technology eliminated these positions. This photograph shows indigenous peoples adapting to modern employment while facing continued discrimination and cultural suppression through government policies attempting forced assimilation and erasure of traditions. Santa Barbara, California, 1931. Albert Einstein at 52 years old stands on Leadbeater Beach. The brilliant physicist enjoys California's climate while teaching and researching. His revolutionary theories transformed modern physics and scientific understanding, making him the 20th century's most famous scientist and symbol of intellectual genius and human curiosity. Paris, 1929. Tour Eiffel taken from Palais du Trocadero by Clifton Adams. This classic view captures the iconic tower dominating the cityscape. The structure remained Paris's most recognizable landmark and symbol of French culture, drawing millions of tourists annually to experience its architectural grandeur and breathtaking views. Schönau am Königssee, Germany, 1945. 2 U.S. soldiers stand with dozens of art pieces stolen by Hermann Göring, found in a cave. Nazi looting systematically plundered Europe's cultural treasures. Allied forces recovered millions of stolen artworks, though many remain missing, forever lost to war's destruction and theft by regime officials. New York, September 8, 1893. From glass negative, shot of 3 ladies hiking their dresses to get close to the beach. This candid moment captures Victorian women navigating beach access while maintaining modesty through restrictive clothing. Their determination to enjoy seaside recreation despite impractical dress demonstrates women's gradual liberation from suffocating fashion conventions. Kabul, Afghanistan, 1992. A convoy of Afghan Mujahideen freedom fighters rolls into the capital city after the collapse of the Soviet-backed communist regime. This victory celebration preceded brutal civil war and Taliban takeover. Afghanistan's tragedy demonstrates how Cold War proxy conflicts destroyed nations long after superpowers withdrew their direct support. Ricketts Club, September 7, 1949. One of Marilyn Monroe's early jobs before she hit it big was to be date of young Roddy McDowall. The future superstar worked various modeling and escort jobs while seeking her breakthrough role. These humble beginnings contrast sharply with the global icon she would become. 1920s. A photograph of the pyramids captures ancient wonders that fascinated Western tourists and archaeologists. These monuments represent human civilization's earliest achievements, surviving millennia while empires rose and fell. Modern photography allowed mass audiences to view Egypt's treasures, fueling Egyptomania and archaeological tourism throughout the 20th century. A young man demonstrates against low pay for teachers. He left school to earn $21 a week, whilst his teacher was earning less than $18 weekly. This protest highlights education's undervaluation and economic injustice, where unskilled labor paid more than teaching, discouraging talented individuals. Wurzburg, Germany, 1945. The destroyed city lies in ruins after Allied bombing devastated the historic center. Strategic bombing campaigns killed hundreds of thousands of German civilians while destroying irreplaceable cultural heritage. Post-war reconstruction would eventually restore cities, though debates continue about bombing's military necessity versus its moral costs and civilian suffering. 1909. A cowboy receives a haircut. This frontier scene captures the American West transformation from wilderness to settled civilization. Cowboys represented masculine independence and outdoor life, though their romanticized image obscured the hard, dangerous labor that characterized actual ranch work and cattle driving across harsh landscapes. 1816. Volcanic ash from Mount Tambora darkened the skies, leading to a summer of freezing temperatures, failed crops, and widespread famine. The year without summer caused global climate disruption, demonstrating how natural disasters impact human civilization. This catastrophe inspired Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, written during Switzerland's dark, cold summer. Ambridge, Pennsylvania, 1938. A young girl stands amid piles of discarded boxes, cans, and wooden barrels at a city dump. Holding a large basket in her hands, she scavenges for anything useful or valuable. Depression-era poverty forced families to reclaim waste for survival, with children laboring. Fairfield County, Connecticut, 1949. A gentleman farmer proudly shows a group of women his hornless cows. This agricultural innovation demonstrates selective breeding's progress. The farmer's pride and the women's interest reflect post-war prosperity, and suburban Americans' growing fascination with modern farming techniques despite increasing distance from agricultural production. St. Petersburg, Florida, 1940. Robert Wadlow, the tallest man in recorded history, stands in the lobby of a hotel, towering at 8 feet 11 inches. His extraordinary height resulted from gigantism. Wadlow's medical condition brought fame, but constant physical challenges before his early death at 22 years. Des Moines, Iowa, 1945. Teenage boys play cards together in a bedroom. Surrounded by posters, signs, and personal decorations, they enjoy leisure time during wartime. This domestic scene captures adolescent friendship and the sanctity of private spaces where young people developed identities separate from adult supervision and social expectations. San Angelo, Texas, 1939. A worker toughs a mattress at a factory. Surrounded by stacks of striped mattresses, he threads and ties thick padding by hand, ensuring each layer is firmly secured. The careful stitching and attention to detail reflect craftsmanship and labor that went into mattress making. New York City, 1920. A daredevil balances precariously atop a stack of chairs on the rooftop of a skyscraper, 20 stories above ground. These death-defying stunts entertained audiences while demonstrating reckless bravery. Such dangerous performances reflected the era's fascination with human limits and spectacular risk-taking before safety regulations restricted public stunt work. 1986. Charlie Sheen and Willem Dafoe during the filming of Platoon. Oliver Stone's Vietnam War masterpiece featured these young actors depicting American soldiers' experiences in Southeast Asian combat. The film's brutal realism and moral complexity helped audiences understand the war's trauma decades after its controversial conclusion and divisive legacy. London Zoo, 1937. A little girl holds a penguin's flipper as they walk together. This charming interaction demonstrates how zoos facilitated direct contact with exotic animals before modern regulations separated visitors from wildlife. Such encounters created memorable experiences while raising ethical questions about animal welfare and appropriate human-animal boundaries in captivity. Guadalcanal, Solomon Islands, November 5, 1942. Japanese soldiers and Marines captured during the battle at an American prisoner of war camp. This brutal island campaign marked the beginning of Allied offensive operations in the Pacific, where Marines faced determined Japanese resistance and horrific jungle warfare conditions throughout the campaign.